Good morning, everyone. Just like class. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Dr. Craig Monk, and I'm Provost and Vice President Academic. I know this time of the semester is busy, and as we all settle into our routines and reorient ourselves, getting used to being more often on campus. I'd like to tell you how grateful I am to you all for making the time to be here this morning, and I hope you'll find value today in examining and celebrating the progress we've made as an institution. Before we begin the program, I'd like to read a land acknowledgement. Some people question the significance of statements like these. As a supporter of viewpoint diversity, I respect the right to hold and to express that view. Other people, for whom land acknowledgements are very important, question whether a common statement is appropriate. I am, as you know, a professor in the Department of English, and I have made a serious study of my field for more than 35 years. I've spent much of my adult life seeking great meaning and significance in words I have not myself written. This acknowledgement, in use at MacEwan for some years, was written with the input of our Indigenous community members on campus and off. I have never once read it or heard it recited without reflecting on its significance. It moves me deeply, and it puts into words things I could not myself express. And so with that, I'd like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather in Treaty 6 territory is the traditional gathering place for many Indigenous people. We honor and respect the history, languages, ceremonies, and culture of the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who call this territory home. The First Peoples' connection to the land teaches us about our inherent responsibility to protect and respect Mother Earth. With this acknowledgement, we honor the ancestors and children who have been buried here, missing and murdered Indigenous women and men, and the process of ongoing collective healing for all human beings. We are reminded that we are all treaty people and of the responsibility we have to one another. I would now like to welcome our Indigenous Knowledge Keeper, Cynthia Jim, to provide a blessing for today's event. Protocol was provided moments ago.
Thank you, each and every one of you, my beautiful relatives. We are in the room together to relate in a beautiful and most positive way, and so now I can now call you family. It's a teaching my grandmother taught me. Once you're in the room together and begin to relate to one another, you become family. You begin to share interests, thoughts, perceptions. You begin to share your differentiations, your diversity, and celebrate and support each other in that diversity. I want to share a song given to me by my grandmother to utilize in binding that beautiful network and relationship of one mind and one heart. And I'd like to thank everybody from Annette to Craig and everybody else involved. Tim, I see Tim as our representative. Beautiful, beautiful people to keep this beautiful relationship going. I am a residential school survivor. I've sufficed great things. My grandmother's a residential school survivor, my mother and my father. I here share with you to rebuild beautiful relationships and to help make the work here today go in the most beautiful way. Kukshem. This is called the Grandmother's Song. Think of it as a shawl around each and every one of us to nourish and to nurture, to create humility with each other, to listen to each other, to be healthy of mind, body, and spirit, and all the beautiful things that we need to bind as one heart and one mind. Kukshem. Nutuku atayukan kite watisten Nutuku atayukan Temagino howinan Sawihimena hiyo Nutuku atayukan kite watisten Nutuku atayukan Temagino howinan Sawihimena hiyo Nutuku kite watisten no tuku atayukan temagino hoinahan sawi hemenanya hieo. I hi miigwech, I hi haichka kuksham. Thank each and every one of you for taking the time to be here with us today. Kuksham.
Thank you, Cynthia Jim. As many of you know, our strategic vision was also developed based on the input of the wider MacEwan community and the community around us. We heard a resounding consensus that our vision should be based on our strengths, and our strength is teaching greatness. Over the past year, we've had several public events that have furthered the conversation on how we implement this vision. Today's address from the President will contribute to that discussion. Following the President's words, we'll have an opportunity for a brief question and answer session, and we will invite you to join us in the atrium afterward for further discussion. And with that, I'd like to welcome to the stage Dr. Annette Trimbee, President and Vice-Chancellor of MacEwan University.
Well, thank you, Craig, and welcome everyone, and thank you to Cynthia for your prayer. I do feel your grandmother's shawl on me today. It's so incredibly gratifying to be here in person with all of you in this room. And as we saw with our block party last week, there's an incredible richness in being able to connect in real life, one that you just can't duplicate across a screen. Indeed, across campus, you can sense the renewed energy in people as they attend classes, meet with colleagues, and even just get together to enjoy the wonderful fall weather we've been having. It's been a long couple of years getting to this point, yet we persevered, and I don't know about the rest of you, but the falls, the winters all kind of blend together the last few years. We've lost track of our routines. But I will say that this entire MacEwan community worked diligently to keep each other safe while still delivering quality learning opportunities for our students. Through it, we demonstrated that we're flexible, agile, and resilient. Now, we're certainly not going to pretend that it's all over, and we're going to be responsive, as we have been, to any protocols announced by health authorities. But we are in a new phase. Call it a recovery phase, one where we return to something that looks a bit more like pre-COVID, regroup and adjust, and look forward boldly and optimistically. We're in a good position to do that because despite the upheaval of the past 2 years, we didn't stand still at MacEwan. Instead, our community came together and had some big conversations about who we are, what we offer, and where we want to go. There was spirited discussion, there was a sense of possibility, there was a yearning to identify, express, and invest in the best of ourselves so that when we reach the other side of COVID-19, we'd be ready. And the product of those efforts was our new strategic vision, which received widespread support from our board, our General Faculties Council, and our university community. It is aptly named Teaching Greatness, because it doubles down on what makes us stand out. Our emphasis is on being exceptional, an exceptional undergraduate teaching university. Our strategic vision is going to help guide our choices for the rest of this decade. In fact, it is already doing so. The vision is already serving as a key touchstone as we engage with governments, the business community, alumni and supporters, and our student community about plans, policies, and ambitions. People can be skeptical about vision statements, and understandably so, because sometimes they end up being feel-good exercises that don't really go anywhere. I can assure you that teaching greatness isn't intended to look pretty sitting on a bookshelf. It's our high-level guide, and we're referring to it daily. We have set out a defined approach for its implementation with 3 major phases. Recovery. That's where we are now. Given how incredibly ambitious and agile the MacEwan community is, I don't think we're going to be in this phase for very long. Then there's growth. I'm going to speak more about that today. And finally, acceleration, which kind of speaks for itself. To keep us on track and on pace through these phases, we're developing a dashboard and markers of success. We expect those to be further defined and approved by spring 2023 with GFC engagement, and then we will seek board approval. But in the meantime, we are moving forward because we know MacEwan is the right place for the times. Nothing is more emblematic of this than our commitment to teaching greatness. It's in our DNA. It's the center of everything we do and every decision we make. It is what energizes us each day, not only expanding our knowledge, but passing that knowledge to the next generation of thinkers and builders and leaders. Each day, MacEwan faculty are defining what it means to deliver exceptional undergraduate learning. This is a dimension where our aspiration is to lead the sector. And we are starting from strength. 92% of our alumni speak very positively about the quality of instruction they've received. That's a testament to our uniqueness, our talent, and our determination to put student instruction front and center. We're building on that. We're undertaking an ambitious hiring plan to increase the number of tenure-track faculty over the next several years. We are hiring as many as 50 new faculty to start in July of 2023. We understand the importance of tenured faculty in delivering quality learning. In fact, a significant proportion of first-year classes at MacEwan are taught by tenure-track, long-term faculty members. We're also pursuing our goal of doubling student financial aid over the next 5 years. We're doing this on 2 tracks: broad-based efforts to expand scholarships, bursaries, and awards across all faculties, and targeted efforts to support specific underserved student populations. A big part of this is our Students First campaign, which has some wonderful momentum. Some of you, I think I see you in the front row, propelled that momentum by participating in Dunk the Monk at the block party, where our provost endured countless rounds of saturation to help raise money for financial aid. But it's a good thing that I instead dunked MLA David Shepherd. It only took me 2 throws, and the mayor took, I think, about 15 to dunk the monk the first time. More importantly, even more of you have made generous contributions to the overall campaign. And I'm so pleased to say that internal donor participation soared from 2.5% to 13%. That's incredible. And I want to also shout out to our facilities team. That team had 74 participants, 74% participation during the campaign. That is phenomenal. Okay. It's fantastic to see that about 12% of our students receive financial aid from MacEwan at an average of about $3,000. So this illustrates our fervent commitment to student learning and quality education. It makes it a lot easier for myself and Myrna and Kevin and others to go out and help encourage donors to give to MacEwan when our own internal community is so incredibly committed. We take enormous pride, and it's really gratifying when people take notice of some of the things that we are doing here at MacEwan. And I'm pleased to announce that the Campus Alberta Quality Council has signaled that MacEwan University is moving toward audit status. So what does that mean? What it means is a little less red tape, a little more confidence being shown in us from outside parties, and we'll benefit from an expedited review when we create new degree programs. It's a major marker of our quality. With strong academic policies and academic governance, we've demonstrated our prowess as an undergraduate university. We've entered a new era, and we're ready to take our next big steps in being an exceptional undergraduate leading teaching university. All right, smash the calendar. Who doesn't get excited about that? In practically every room where I talk about this direction, people get excited, they want to bring out their hammers, and they want to help us smash the calendar. But what does that mean? It's about delivering our courses and programs in new ways. We want MacEwan to be a place where students can enter, exit, ladder up, and explore as flexibly and seamlessly as possible. We have a real opportunity to put together innovative, multidisciplinary, post-secondary journeys for our students that meet their interests and position them for success. And we're already seizing that opportunity. In partnership with business and industry, MacEwan is expanding the micro-credentials we offer. Growing micro-credentials means growing our partnerships. And there's more beyond what's on this list and more to come. And I know anyone who's gone grocery shopping during the past 2 years will be particularly pleased to see intelligent supply chains on that list. So we don't do this haphazardly. We grow programs with the need of students, employers, the economy, and society in mind, and we're going to do it while maintaining quality. This includes accelerated progression. We want more opportunities to enable students to finish 4-year degrees in 3 years. Yet we still must empower them with the requisite skills and training. For instance, we're exploring ways of graduating students sooner from our Bachelor of Science in Nursing. I'm looking at Christy. Getting this right will be kind of critical, not only for the professional success of our graduates, but also for the health and safety of patients in their care. As we continue examining our policies and procedures to remove barriers and increase flexibility, we're also continuing work to enable hybrid learning. With the benefit of lessons learned during the height of the pandemic, we all refer to this pivot. We know that we've learned how to do this much better. GFC has come to a shared understanding about different teaching modalities. And we know there's an appetite among today's students for a structured blend of in-person and virtual delivery. Our challenge is to meet this appetite with the best possible pedagogy. With guidance from the Center for Teaching and Learning, we have been looking at ways to expand hybrid pedagogy, including investments in upgrading classrooms. These moves are going to help us increase flexibility and extend our reach to more learners while ensuring we maintain high quality in our undergraduate instruction. Now that's a lot about how we deliver courses and programs. Let's talk more about the what we are delivering. We know that our students aren't just coming to MacEwan for a piece of paper. They're coming to be prepared for the world, and it is our job to prepare them. Our mascot, the Griffin, blends the wit, strength, and courage of a lion together with the speed, vision, and intelligence of the eagle. A magical combination of qualities that spell out well-roundedness. That is the character we seek to inspire, awaken, and foster in our graduates. At a time when there's rapid change in our economy, more upheaval in society, rising issues in the environment, what we need in the world are more Griffins. Innovative, collaborative, and competitive grads who are job ready. We know that work-integrated learning, or WIL, as we refer to it here, can play an instrumental role in generating that type of graduate. So we are committed to making work-integrated learning available across as many programs as possible. Again, we're starting from a place of pride. We will exceed our 2021 target in our Provincial Investment Management Agreement of 75% of programs offering a WIL component, and the target for 2022 is 78%, and we're confident of hitting that too. But what we know is our dream is for all of our students to avail themselves of those WIL opportunities. So we have some work to do when it comes to student participation rates. And as you can see, rates are quite variable among faculties, and there will always be differences based on programs that have regulatory requirements, like nursing. Practicums are part of that, and some of our health and community studies programs. We can also learn from one another and mine the areas of success to help lift everyone. So right now, every year, more than 5,000 MacEwan students participate in WIL, learning through placements or projects. And that's 1 in 5 students. So in addition, students are involved in work-integrated learning projects as well as employer-based placements. The Faculty of Arts and Science has made great strides to increase their student participation in WIL. As we do that, we're energizing our work to expand partnerships in the community. If you've been following the media, you will have heard about some of these new partnerships, for example, with organizations such as the Edmonton Elks, Edmonton International Airport, the Citadel Theatre, and we are soon to announce our one with the Sarah McLachlan School of Music. These and other partnerships will help facilitate more WIL opportunities for MacEwan students. The result will be a MacEwan that is even more effective at producing the magical Griffins needed by our society, economy, and environment. Now, I use that word more. You'll hear it a lot. more of being who we are, more of doing what we're really good at, and importantly, more students. We have ambition to grow our enrollment at an average of 5% per year. Ultimately, we want to reach a level of 20,000 full-time equivalent students, which is about 30,000 of them. This isn't simply a vanity exercise for the sake of the institution. We know MacEwan has a critical role to play in meeting rising demands for post-secondary education driven by demographics. We also know we offer something unique that learners and employers are demanding, so we can do our part and then some. On the screen behind me, you will see some projections. The light blue is current enrollment. On top of that, there's planned international student growth, constituting projected growth of 10%. And our projected growth from maintaining our historic share of post-secondary enrollment when Alberta's demographic bulge comes through is on top of that. That gets us to the top of the dark blue segments. That's just doing our part. The red segment represents, and then some, it is our aspirational growth. And this is where we get to work. We plan to reach that stretch goal through a combination of efforts. Some of it will come from targeted expansion. For example, earlier this year, MacEwan was successful under the Alberta at Work initiative in securing funding to expand seats in high-demand programs. Other parts will come from what we do internally, such as expanding the recruitment of Indigenous students, responding to the demands of mature learners who want to upskill, and strengthening academic and other supports to help improve the retention of students in our programs. It's a marathon, not a sprint. 10 years is a long time, yet one that I'm confident we can achieve together. It does, however, come with an associated challenge that I've finally got to believe myself, particularly on Tuesdays at 9:20 or is it 9:40. We have a space challenge, like where do we put everybody? Even as we integrate hybrid modalities across the institution, we still have a physical capacity issue. So slated for the corner of 109th Street and 105th Avenue, and with a schematic design that has already been funded and approved, the new business building, when it's funded and built, will expand MacEwan's capacity by about 5,000 full load equivalent students. 7 stories of state-of-the-art flexible space. We own the land. We are shovel ready. That's what you say to people who have funds. We're shovel ready, ready to go. And we are undertaking an aggressive capital campaign to raise $25 million towards the $190 million it would take to get it built, with major fundraising efforts led by supporters and community builders, like John Day, some of you may remember him, he used to chair the board of MacEwan, and Rob Seidel, who also was on the board of MacEwan. And we're very fortunate to have these business leaders willing to step up and launch a campaign with us in advance of secured government funding. They're so confident, and they believe MacEwan is so absolutely critical to the recovery of downtown. So we're launching the campaign today, and it's going to be called MacEwan Means Business. We like double entendres. It can mean whatever you want it to mean for you, it means. So you will see a fantastic image of MacEwan soccer player Grace Mosala, who was also Female Rookie of the Year. And this image was chosen to amplify the next generation of talent and innovation. And wasn't our women's soccer team grand, taking the national championships last year? Let's clap. There's just something about surprising people and the underdog. We're not the underdog. Like I said, we're going to take this big step, and MacEwan means business now. So the images you will see over the coming weeks on billboards in the community will signify the spirit of MacEwan, bold, maverick, and inclusive. Trend-setting, trend-breaking energy. As we developed the strategic vision, one thing that came into sharper focus was our role as a downtown university. Being right in the center of the capital city, with tendrils into many parts of community, positions us smack dab in the middle of a living lab. There's a lot of life around MacEwan. MacEwan faculty are uniquely positioned to work with other community partners to explore and address the challenges facing our city, province, and broader society. Yet even in our scholastic work, MacEwan stands apart because once again, we've got that laser focus on delivering exceptional undergraduate learning. We want to support members of the Academy in taking the fruits of their research activity and using it to inform their courses, their pedagogy, and their teaching. And I did listen to one of the research podcasts where Cynthia Perdue talked about being away on a sabbatical and just how that enriched her ability back in the classroom. That's what sets us apart. We make an outsized impact on our economy, environment, and society. And to that end, I'm proud to report that we will be nominating 2 Tier 2 Canadian research chairs in the area of social innovation and urban wellness. So Chris Wells, you won't be all alone. You'll have some peers to accelerate wonderful things here at MacEwan. You already have peers, but I mean peers with special pressure. I also want to congratulate MacEwan faculty for their success in securing major research grants. 9 MacEwan faculty members will collectively receive more than $600,000 from NSERC and SHIRT grants, and we're very proud of them. Last year, I was absolutely amazed and inspired by the scholarly activity and projects that faculty collaborated on with our students. This is one thing that sets us apart. It really does set us apart. We work with our students in our research and scholarly work. It's not just an exception, it's becoming a norm. I was so proud when I learned that a group of students in a design class worked together for solutions to keep Edmonton Transit more safe. And these students are presenting these solutions to the Edmonton City Council. That's incredible. And I know that they would have come up with things that nobody else would have, no consultant would have been as diverse and innovative. I also had a very special day when we launched a video game called Life on the Edge. I'm a biologist. It gave me great joy to see how somebody had created a game that taught some simple biology, and it just happened to show how cells dealt with COVID, how we fight infections. A fabulous interdisciplinary project. And it involved biology students, design students, computer science students, music students, and the funnest part was listening to the computer science student talk about how difficult the design students were because they didn't speak code. But the great thing is it's a tool, it's going to help teach biology, and the students involved in that project, they're being swiped up, like they're getting jobs instantly because they have this to talk about on their resume. And when I meet with alumni, this is what they tell me about. They tell me about the cool things they got involved with faculty. And they tell me about those particular faculty members that kind of patted them on the back and said, you know, you've got something different. You belong, you're special. Let me help you. We're in a very special place. We're in the Ward O'Damon, in the heart of Edmonton. This also influences how we behave and the choices we make as we pursue this new vision. Indigeneity and reconciliation are key aspects of that. As we all return to campus in person, we're reminded that this land we're on has been a special gathering place since time immemorial. Reflecting on that leads us to recognize we have a duty and an opportunity to foster and support economic reconciliation. We can do this by enhancing our inclusiveness as a university and working to enhance participation for more Indigenous learners. We inspire Indigenous youth by bringing them to campus with our annual Youth Rising Conference. Youth can see themselves in role models and can engage and feel comfortable that MacEwan can be a home away from home. They can learn more about culture. They can learn more about ceremony. We have a new partnership with Inspire through their annual gathering, Soaring. This event will be hosted in Edmonton this year. It will bring hundreds of Indigenous high school students together in May to inspire them and help them plan their future careers, to encourage high school completion and the pursuit of post-secondary education. Our university will have the privilege of holding a campus day where we host tours and faculty workshops. Events like Soaring and other strategies are things that we will do based on advice from our Indigenous Advisory Council, and we will engage more Indigenous learners here at MacEwan. We also have some work to do to move the needle on equity, diversity, and inclusion. When I first got here, I had a lot of questions, and I really couldn't find the data I was looking for. We're making some steps. So here are some results from a demographic survey. And what the survey shows is we do well in some areas and not so well in others. And really, what am I after? if you walk the halls, you will see that our student body has changed a lot for many of you that have been here for over decades. Our student body is much more diverse. Our city is much more diverse. Wouldn't it be grand if our faculty and staff more closely mirrored our student population, which is more closely aligned with what our community representation is? Students are here for years, faculty and staff are here for decades, so it's kind of a race we might never ever catch up on, but it's important to try. How we get there needs to be informed by data. And beyond this demographic survey, I know that we're quite pleased to be introducing the opportunity for faculty, staff, and students to self-identify. And this will help us get better data. This will help us develop the right strategies to build an environment where equity, diversity, and inclusion in our leadership, faculty, and staff are encouraged and supported. I don't want anybody to think that I think it's only about the data. It's really about culture. It's about how we be with one another. But this is something we do need to pay some attention to. The next visual shows a little bit about how our faculty and staff reflect our student and community well, and others where we should have closer alignment. Because let's face it, you know, there are trends, and we're behind the trends. We need to be mindful of the trends coming our way. And we know that there will be more Indigenous learners out there in the community of Edmonton. So last May, our General Faculties Council supported the recommendation of our Nursing Faculty Council to implement equity admissions, which will see 10% of seats earmarked for qualified Indigenous candidates. And that is awesome. Need to keep moving the bar. For example, we are committed to growing our Indigenous faculty with as many as 5 cross-appointments with Kehi Watson annually. We understand the importance of representation. When our students see themselves represented in our classrooms and hallways, it deepens their connections with institution and campus community. That sense of belonging is crucial for growth, engagement, learning, and success. I was asked as part of our preparation for the launch of the Center for Sexual and Gender Diversity fundraising campaign what the center was. And it was interesting, put on the spot, because we think of centers as physical spaces, but they're about the people and the relationships and that sense of belonging. And that, again, I think is MacEwan's special sauce, secret sauce. It really is different here. I'm really excited about the year ahead, and I'm so excited for everyone to be back on campus. I'm excited about our vision and ambitions. I'm a really calm person. This is me, over the top excited. My son is like me, my husband and daughter, you really know that they're excited. I'm excited to learn about and showcase the amazing achievements of our faculty, staff, and students, and excited about the possibilities we have. You know why? Like, we know who we are, we know what makes us unique, and we know where we're headed. And we know that what we offer is needed now more than ever before. So people are looking a lot more towards MacEwan these days. And you know what? They really like what they see. I like what I see in all of you. You are teaching greatness. Thanks, everybody.